How y'all really feeling out there? Good? I hope so. I hope so. Because over here at Black Girl Fire's Cosmic Revolution, it's a little bit somber. A lot has been going on in the month of July, especially within Chicago disability community. A very prominent and impactful figure within the Chicago disability community has recently transitioned, Justin Cooper. And today's live stream is going to be a little bit different because this is all about commemorating and honoring the legacy of Justin Cooper. So yesterday was his funeral, and I would say this: I am a little bit heated, and I'm feeling some type of way about like the ableism embedded within that funeral. And I know for a fact, Justin, he was doing so much. Like, he was helping. He was the leading voice in organizing the Disability Pride Parade. He was a photographer, artist, a filmmaker. He was doing so much, but yet he not once was he ever paid his worth. And it's a problem for me of the state of his transition, and the monetary value doesn't reflect of how much he was worth and how much he gave to Chicago disability community. And it is like a larger problem of especially how people with disability are treated, especially when we add on the layer of being black and disabled. And in my case, there's an extra layer, there's womanhood. So that's kind of like 3 strikes against me. But within Justin's case, and just thinking about his funeral and the ableist views, and hearing like all the people that was talking about him and honor his legacy, and it came to my mind like they really didn't know who Justin was. Like how they see his wheelchair as something that took away from his humanity. And that just brings me to my personal experience while I have been on a journey of unmasking of how like a lot of the time as being black and disabled, we often feel like a burden to our community, our family, and American society as like a whole, which contribute to how we show up in the world, how we go about life not asking for our worth or feeling like we can't speak up or feeling like we have to accept the bare minimum. Which is like a problem, because no way in the world all that Justin did, that the life that he was living should have been at that level. Like, I feel like Justin deserved the very best life has to offer. He was owed the world, but his reality didn't reflect that. And this is the reality for so many Black disabled people living in Chicago. And just for the fact that there aren't any notable disability tools and resources on the south side of Chicago is a problem, which is something that I was dedicated to doing back in 2022 when I facilitated the I Am event series Disability, Art, Life, and Culture, where I had the privilege of Justin Cooper speaking on a panel. And I'm saying that it has always been my goal to preserve and to think about ways of how to properly document disability, art, life, and culture through the Black lens. And I feel like this mission is coming back to me, especially after the loss of Justin. And I think that is the best way of how to commemorate his legacy and his memory, because he was so prominent and impactful. And I feel like the best way to commemorate his memory is to implement institutional and systematic change for people within Chicago disability community. To know that we are owed full access to the American dream. We deserve access to experience, to know what it feels like to be fully human, and to not have our disability identity to subtract from that, to have us feeling like we constantly have to move through the world as like a burden, like we're not good enough, that we had to feel like an inconvenience when navigating an inaccessible society. And I think this is the best way of how to commemorate Justin Cooper's legacy. I would say, I wasn't the closest to Justin, but I had the honor of meeting him and working with him when I became involved with Excess Living in 2019. We both work on SESA, and SESA is the first bill ever created by a BIPOC disability organization. And that's another reason, another thing, I just feel like the people behind SESA are owed so much and need to be given their flowers, because SESA is so historic by being the first and only bill created by a BIPOC disabled collective, and it's not widely known is a problem. And I think this is, and that fact is another reason that contributes to the state Justin was in, that is a true representation for so many disabled people living in Chicago, where we feel like we have to accept the bare minimum or to make do, which is a problem. So I guess the call of action, this is a call of action that I want to send out to all my disabled folks within the Chicago community, that it's time that we come together to ensure that our rights and humanity is fully honored, because we constantly see how even though the ADA is a federal law, and Chicago and Illinois also have the Illinois Human Rights Act and the Chicago Mutual Code, but like our rights and humanity aren't fully honored. And there's so much work that needs to be done in co-creating a more inclusive and accessible society for all. So to honor the 34th anniversary of the ADA, I'm calling for all my disabled folks, wherever you hear me, to take action, to stand up, to be fully you, to find your tribe, and start working to helping to co-create institutional and systematic change, and helping co-creating the new earth that's more accessible and inclusive for all. Because as we see, there's so much that needs to be done. And I guess the first step is by commenting and tell me where you from and what you doing, and so we know how, like, where we can start, how we can connect and work together to commemorate Justin Cooper's legacy, to ensure that people with disability don't have to continue to navigate an inaccessible society where we are made to feel less than, like a burden, where we have to accept scraps. Like, today is a new day where we know that we deserve full access to the full human experience, where we deserve the world, the very best that life have to offer. So the call of action is comment, tell me where you're from, what organization you are with, what are some things you are working on, so we can connect and co-create a more inclusive and accessible society for all. And yes, in that order. And this is all for commemorating the legacy and impact of Justin Cooper. And yes, and that